And we also would like to share, we have
our grandmothers, mothers, sisters, nieces, means to ever remember that they do
Nations Habitat Executive Director, First Ladies Roundtable, Sustainable Development Globally.
here in our lovely city of Nairobi, of Turkey, and also we know that excluding women from urban decision-making main priority. This is not a job.
Umutlandırıyor. Bu duygu ve
To becoming a certified teacher and owning several.
We sometimes miss to go to school because of school fees or 100 shillings. But I really needed this money because sometimes
work we were doing for cross-stitch. This is helped us to see the prisoners. Our Excellency invited.
Beatrice talked about, which is the joyful.
So it focuses on the bottom of the pan and then waste elimination.
You can put your hand out there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much.
That is now comes to our wellness and our health. At the same time, it is a research at education. Today we are going to CBC. As they learn when we are still young.
About the Wapsi, this one, one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom.
At UN Habitat, we are taking a gender transformative approach across all of our work. I strongly encourage my teams to not merely respond to the different intersectional experiences of women, but to contribute to transform the structures that continue to keep women far behind. Let me start with women's access to housing, land and property rights. Women continue to face discrimination around owning, inheriting and administrating housing, land and property. For example, in many contexts, women carry out the majority of labor on the land, yet they are unable to audit and effectively make decisions about its administration. This reflects the limited decision-making power within their families and communities. It places women at a far greater risk of losing access to family land, which can result in poverty, exploitation, and sexual violence.
Mama Doing Good has launched several programs to positively shape our cities and communities. I shall delve deeper into the thematic areas during the roundtable discussion. I'm confident that the outcomes from today's dialogue shall go a long way in supporting and attaining SDG 11, which is about sustainable cities and communities, and through SDG 5, which is equality. We shall amplify the voice of our women through involving them in the pursuit of inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable communities. With those few remarks, I wish to officially launch the First Lady Roundtable and look forward to our engagement towards enhancing sustainability of our cities and communities. Growing up in Kakamega County, we shared the one broken bike with my siblings on the rural roads. We would have the time of our lives as we went rolling at high speed down the valley, many times with no brakes. The feeling of joy and freedom was priceless. Such cities are possible if we commit to be inclusive and sustainable. Vienna City is an example we can learn from as we think of how our cities and communities can be more sustainable, especially with women in mind. Vienna's government has made the city safer and a more convenient place for women after incorporating a gender lens into urban design. Improvement of public facilities, including improving street lighting, made parks more accessible to young girls, widened pavements, and designed neighborhoods helped meet the social needs of women. Kenya has made its positive strides through street lighting in conjunction with the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, modernized markets with some having daycare facilities, remodeled public parks, and walking and cycling lanes in some of our major towns. The woman is the mirror of the society. If she is marginalized, the community is oppressed. If strengthened, the community is empowered. Women must be at the table when planning for our cities and communities. A woman in the society atom, indeed, without her nothing would exist. I believe that if women are given the right opportunities and tools, they have the power to uplift themselves and their communities. This is the reason why I advocate for and insist that women must be at the center of shaping cities and communities. SDG 11 focuses on making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. More than 50% of the world's population live in cities, and by 2050, an estimated 7 out of 10 people will likely live in urban areas. In developing countries, this increase continues to be driven by rural-urban migration in search of employment and business opportunities. Cities are key drivers of economic growth globally and contribute more than 80% of global GDP. A growing younger generation is another key driver for urban population growth. This urban population explosion has resulted in several challenges, such as insufficient housing, the growth of informal settlements, inadequate solid waste management, to name but a few. Green spaces and tree cover are greatly affected in an effort to make room for human settlements. There is an increase in air and noise pollution and carbon emission from motor vehicles. The local scenario is not different from the global experience. Urbanization is changing how Kenyans live. It is estimated that by 2030, 34% of Kenyans will be living in urban areas. Kenya has a deficit of 200,000 houses annually, and the government is encouraging investments in affordable housing. Affordable housing is a key part of the government's bottom-up economic plan, with a goal to restore the dignity of informal settlement dwellers. It's every woman's goal to own a house and have the security that her family has an assurance of a decent roof over their head. The Kenyan government has a plan to grow the number of affordable mortgages from the current 30,000 to 1 million by 2032. Devolution, for instance, in Kenya has seen urban migration diluted from the capital city to county headquarters by creating opportunities for employment and investment. Government investment in affordable and sustainable transport systems, the upgrade of transport infrastructure are key for better management of urban areas.